smartass.
Yeah.
So are we in the right page, Mac?
Yeah, but yeah, we are.
That's 11.
There.
Nobody here for this meeting?
I know this is kind of history making.
What's going on?
We are
You
good
had
to
an
go.
earthquake and we didn't hear about it? This little spot didn't get affected?
Is anybody online?
Not
Good,
yet.
because I'm eating a chip.
Just us.
So we like to call the meeting to order. Is today November 18, 2025. It's 11 a.m. So we're going to have roll call.
Commissioner Mon here.
Commissioner Harvey present.
And Commissioner Stubbs here. And we would like to have an invocation and we have any volunteers to say the prayer.
What, you want me to say?
We'll say.
I'll say it.
I guess we don't have to do this. Okay.
Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful that we can meet as a county commission today and grateful for all those who participate with the county activities and the work that they do, mindful of all the employees and their good work, and pray for their safety, and grateful for the moisture that has been sent, and for all the many good things that we are blessed with here in San Juan County. And pray for those who are in positions of leadership, that they will be wise and be able to be guided and make good decisions. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Good stuff.
Commissioner Majo, you want to lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Okay, it's time to declare if you have any conflict to disclose anything in the agenda that you.
Commissioner Harvey, I have no conflict, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Mon, no conflict, thank you.
I don't have any either. So now we'll turn the time to Mac for public comments.
There is nobody here for public comments today.
Okay, and there's any online?
Nobody online. Just
Okay.
us.
So, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Mac?
Okay, so for today, under consent agenda item, you have the consideration and ratification of an interagency agreement between San Juan County and the Utah Department of Workforce Services Winter Response Grant Contract for $5,000 for sheltering individuals during cold blue alerts. It is that time of year for the cold blue to be going off up until, so from essentially November to April. If we get a cold blue warning or an alert on our phones, if it gets to a certain temperature, then we have these funds available. If anybody is homeless and needing a shelter, that's what those funds will be used for. The item number 2 is the approval for the Ulam Moab under Canvas Restaurant. Thank you. Sure. Alcohol banquet. Sorry. I had bag
Sorry.
I was stuck on baguette. No, this is not banquet. Banquet alcohol license. Item number 3, the approval of November 6th through the 14th check registers. Commissioner, are your 3 items for the consent agenda today?
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve consent agenda items 1 through 3.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The motion passed unanimously. Now, the next section is business action.
Okay, item number 4 is consideration and approval of a resolution of appointment of the San Juan County representative and an alternate representative for the Utah County Indemnity Pool annual membership meeting. This is one of the requests from USIP as you attend the meeting that will be held on at 11 a.m. on Friday, November 21st at the Megaplex Theaters at Jordan Common in Sandy, Utah. So it looks like you'll be going to the premiere of Wicked 2 or something. But nevertheless, it's a board meeting that USIP has. They require by resolution that we appoint 2 members to attend that board meeting. One is the main official member and the other one is the alternate. So I think in previous discussions we had talked about there's only 2 of the commissioners that are attending USAC, and so it would be Commissioner Stubbs and Commissioner Harvey are the only 2 attending, so you will both be on here. We just need to figure out who's going to be the official and who is going to be the alternate.
Who wants to go to Wicked? That's your choice.
Do a thumb wrestle or something.
Well, they have very
were there that
they
day.
have very comfortable seats, though. I'll
At the
tell you.
Megaplex, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Were you on there before, Commissioner Harvey? Or currently?
No,
Oh.
I didn't think I was. So Mac, who are our representatives?
either me or you.
As the
I-
official main and then the alternate. Both of you attend the meeting, but one gets to have the voice and the other gets to alternately have the voice.
How often are there meetings? 'Cause-
One time a year?
This is just
It's
yeah,
just
this
for
just
this
this meeting.
Oh, just this meeting.
Yes, yep. It is just specific to this meeting, and typically they
And they do have votes.
they have their board meeting around UAC, so you'll
Yeah.
see one around then, and then this one here.
Over here, they select the governing body to get to vote for the elect. You have
Or
a
if they
vote
elect
for,
a new chair for next
Yeah.
year,
yeah.
any bylaw changes, things like that. That
Last
have.
year, Commissioner Adam was the main person. I went as a second. That's an alternate.
Commissioner Mon, do you have?
I will not be to that meeting. I'm unable to attend that meeting. Otherwise, I'd be happy to help out.
Okay.
I
What
mean-
time? What time is the meeting on the 21st?
It
11?
is at 11 a.m.
It's
It
a
probably
Friday.
goes for several hours.
I'm gonna have to be secondary. I've got
Okay.
a tribal intergovernmental agreement meeting that day, but I can be secondary.
Okay.
Okay, all we need is a motion on it. We'll have Commissioner Stubbs as the official and Commissioner Murray as the
So,
alternate.
do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve Commissioner Stubbs as the appointment for San Juan County Representative and Commissioner Harvey as the alternate.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 The resolution passes.
Okay, so this next one is consideration and approval of a resolution urging the U.S. Forest Service to expeditiously use all means applicable to restore and or maintain healthy forest conditions to mitigate the potential for catastrophic wildfire. We have Nick. our
Nick,
public
can-
lands.
Can I just give a brief introduction of what we're trying to do? Can I just give a? Is that the one
Yeah,
About
go
the-
ahead.
about the yeah, the the 5 counties, one being Kanab, came up with with this type of resolution about regarding fires, and he'll explain to us. So I visited with Mac and Nick, and we came with this resolution that will be presented to other counties, including Moab, and see if they will be able, if they want to partner with us. I thought about after the fire situation we had in our county, I think we need to figure out how to have fire prevention, and the cleaning up of the forest is not only prevent fires, but it helps us retain water. We have one year where we have plenty of snow in the mountains in Blanding, and nothing made to the reservoir. It's because the forest was overgrown and was soaking all the water going down. So it's not only for fire protection. I see this maintaining the forest as for more reasons just the fires, but I just wanted to give an introduction. So this is where this is coming from. And so after if we approve this, I'll approach other counties, many other counties that we have, the 7 counties. I can individually invite them to see if they want to join us in. But we want to be able to include Moab and Moab, Grand County, and then other members of the 7 counties. So, but anyway, thank you for doing this. And
Okay. Well, thank you for that opening in the briefing. So that basically is the gist of it. And in this forest district here, you may be aware or remember that the latest project they did for forest health was the I think it was called Shingle Mill project, but it's basically the southeast corner right above town, which was some mulching, bull hog work, as well as some prescribed understory burning. And so this, as you said, this resolution urges the Forest Service to act, expeditiously, aggressively, whatever you want to call it, use all means that they have to either restore or maintain for healthy forest condition. And included in this resolution is support for the rescission of the roadless rule, which by doing so may help facilitate some of this action on the ground to work. So basically the resolution is before you for your consideration.
anyway, we have questions or comments?
Just comment, I think, Madam Chair. There's a figure that I really miss, and he's the guy that used to say, "Only you can prevent forest fire."
Smokey.
The little
so-
Smokey the Bear. We should have asked him to bring Smokey the Bear.
Yeah, Nick, you need to bring Smokey the Bear, but maybe this is an opportunity to see more of Smokey the Bear. But anyhow, I'm just being silly. I'd like to support this resolution, so I'll make the motion to approve.
We have a
I'll second the motion, but I just want to comment too on that. On the House Bill 48, that WUI that they're putting in, that's one of my questions. Is we're trying to instigate a bill to make people, make their property so that they extract the foliage or the forest that's around us, due to that. But my question is whether you agree or disagree with the bill. My thing is but where does the responsibility of the Forest Service lie? And I think I appreciate this because it's making them be accountable to some things. And that's probably what we're trying to really push is that it not only takes the effort from us and the county, but it's also going to take the effort on the Forest Service and to start making some changes because of the vast amount of acres, not just in our state, but the West. I mean, we saw that in the last 3 or 4 years. And so thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Anyway, so if you don't have any more comments, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. And I want to make one more comment about the forest fire. And I don't know how this works, but every time, okay, I live in Blanding, so my perspective comes just from the area I live in. Every time we have a fire, we had probably 3 main reservoirs four main reservoirs. And so every time we have a fire, they scoop water from our reservoirs. And so I sometimes I wonder how come they don't have the Forest Service have their own reservoirs for when they have fires, because they come and scoop our water. And I don't know how that works. I'm sure I don't know if it's compensation that way or it's just, but that's something, one of the things I thought they need to somehow plan to, have some kind of reservoirs. Maybe it can be recreational plus in their land so they can take care of the fires. But I don't know how that works, but I just,
Yeah, I'm not sure if that'd be feasible or not. You know, water is a scarce resource.
Yeah.
So if you dedicated it only to fire control, then
Yeah.
you're taking that
No.
resource from maybe other uses.
yeah, and I think they could probably use that for recreationals and other
Well,
things.
certainly.
Yeah,
But at least years ago, I know before dipping from a reservoir, the permission of the controlling owner or whoever
yeah,
was required, unless it was an absolute emergency. You'd have had to run in and dip, but
yeah.
they would always try to get that permission first, and I think there would be some compensation for the use of that water.
I hope so. And I it's just an observation that I thought that I watched, but it's just trying to figure out answers, I guess. But thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
We'll see you.
right.
Have a happy.
Short meeting today. That's good for you guys.
Yeah.
So we
good
can
meeting.
continue on the rest of the day.
Anyway,
Another long
Thank you.
meeting.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
okay.
Okay, this next one on your agenda is item number 6, consideration and approval of an ordinance 2025-02 establishing a county data privacy program in compliance with the Utah Government Data Privacy Act, UCA 63A 19-101. Essentially, and you'd seen this in your emails coming out from UAC, so we have to have this passed by the end of this year, and including with that is work on our websites, educating our employees as well. So this is kind of the formation of that by ordinance. It names myself obviously as the chief administrative officer. If there are any privacy issues related to any forms that we have, our website, then they will come to me in here. I've also included kind of this next discussion item is our overall policy for data privacy. This is something that we get to do because the state says that we need to, so we are to be in compliant with the state legislature's thoughts on privacy. So kind of bottom line for this is we all have to ramp up. We've been working with the cybersecurity team with the state of Utah for a little while now on our data privacy and just kind of data encryption, data security overall. When a couple of years ago when we had the ransomware attack on the county, there was a concern at the time, well, you know, what information was released. And so when you think of the departments that we have under the umbrella is, you know, you have the Department of Health and how important it is that we keep the Department of Health data private, you know, whether it's WIC or whether it's environmental health, those items like that. It's super important that we keep that private. It kind of gets into simplistic measures where on an employment application, we're asking for certain items, whether it's Social Security. Now, on our employee application, we don't ask for the full Social Security number when they submit it into the county, but we do ask for the last 4 digits. And sometimes people don't understand that the X's mean that you don't provide that first part, so they'll provide the whole entire Social Security. And we've got to establish the measures on an administrative level to make sure that we're protecting that data. A lot of our applications for employment are uploaded and scanned digitally online and then in a cloud storage system that is encrypted, but yet we've got to notify the public as they are entering these forms what we do with that data. Do we sell it? some businesses out there sell individuals' private data. For us, we're not in that business. We do not sell our data. We're just glad to get data sometimes. And so, but with that, we do have to put forward those measures of what are we doing to protect our citizens and other people's data that comes into the county.
Well,
So we're looking for a motion to this. This will name it as like the main point of contact, and you'll see in the policy itself a little bit more of the contacts.
Commissioner Harvey has a comment.
Madam Chair, I'd like to ask some questions in regards to this with our administrator.
Okay.
Mac, currently is our IT department, is that active? And do we have a new IT administrator established?
So we have the IT technician that we had hired. He's here in the room, James Red. And so that is active. In the past, we've used, we've had it as an employee, and then we had a consultant that helped us oversee this. And now we have the consultant with the technician here at a local level. And so James is here, and he is going to be helping us on this next one with the policy side of it. And I'll explain that a little bit further in detail.
Since James is here and you asked about James, just that I was visiting with him about artificial intelligence and different things, and I learned something from him that sometimes when we use artificial intelligence, they have an idea. They can share that information outside. Mm-hmm. So if we're doing anything that we need to be protected, we have to be careful not to make
policies in place. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's something that I learned from visiting with him, with James yesterday. So,
Madam Chair, I don't want to, in any way, shape, or form, kind of ruffle some feathers with this next comment, but
okay.
I would like to propose we consider segregation of powers, if that makes sense. And I think it's a good time to have a thorough discussion about this. So here's my perspective. Mac, I know you wear many different hats, and it's great that you do. I think in regards to some autonomy and maybe segregation of duties, that's the perspective I'm coming from. When I think of IT and security, I tend to think of it as its own pillar, kind of like almost law enforcement, if you will. I know that from my observation of software and probably different tools that our departments utilize, I like to keep the keys maybe a little segregated, and I think that's important to be thought through. Here's a scenario I'll throw out. So we have a breach, and we're at NACO, and because Mac is with us at the meetings, and he only has the login to open up the software that's needed, that can become an obstacle for staff. That's one scenario. The other scenario is, I know that in regards to security, when you set up security, I can only imagine the system would be compatible with specific software types. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out. And so whomever is going to be the architect to this security, because I'm thinking security. When I think privacy, I'm thinking security, and I'm thinking security infrastructure. And when you're talking about security infrastructure, you're talking about implementation of an architect where you have a system and that system relies on specific components so that it operates efficiently, kind of like Word. Microsoft Word, you got to have everything Microsoft, compared to OS, where Microsoft Word for PC doesn't run on OS software and that kind of a thing. But that's where my thoughts are. I think for me, I'm at a selling point if we can work on segregating those kinds of duties, so that when we're giving the golden key only to one person and they have it in their pocket but they're away, that golden key that's in the pocket 1,000 miles away is going to become a barrier to those that are trying to operate in crisis locally. Does that make sense? That's where my thoughts are. Maybe we can elaborate more on how that looks. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Mon has some.
So, Madam Chair, and correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Harvey. So, I see this appointment. So the commissioner appoints someone to implement and have the oversight of the data privacy. According to UAC, that can be whoever we choose. So that's my understanding. So maybe that's what we're referring to. Am I correct that maybe we're referring to James as putting James in as that individual? Okay.
Yeah, so to address the segregation of responsibilities, I've already taken on the role of administrator for the county, while doubling down and doing the support for the users' day-to-day needs. And we also have backups in place as far as if I'm not available, then we have 2 consultants in the northern Utah who also have the keys to be able to address any crisis that might come up, along with training that's already been taking place to mitigate any problems that might rise. And one of my first things coming in was, I have 19 years in experience in the industry, was looking at the security of the county, where the loopholes are, as far as all that goes, and working on closing those. And most of those are closed now, as far as any standard penetration goes. But we're definitely in a better posture than we used to be, and we continue to improve it each day.
So can I have a follow-up question? I guess this is my question. So why could we not name you as the CAO, because you are over the data? I think that's what Commissioner Harvey's referring to. And then you could work with MAC in the event we have a breach in the county. So because that is your department. So I think I'm leaning with him on this, is appointing you as that CAO for the oversight, because this is for oversight and implementation of the data privacy program. I mean, you could name me all day, but I wouldn't have a clue what.
You can think of MAC as more of the oversight, and I'm the implementer. So I'm the architect and implementer of what's going on. This policy is more in line to get us to follow state standards. We're not really changing what we're doing. We're just adding visibility to it for the public.
Right. So are you saying you're not wanting to be named as the CAO? Because I see where Commissioner Harvey's coming from on this. I think that's why I won't speak for you, speak.
Yeah, I think what I'm looking for is maybe we want to segregate duties, right? It's kind of like in accounting. in my mind, where you have the controller separate from, I don't know, the person who reconciles the checks, I guess, right? You are our county employee, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, since you're the IT department, you would be in possession of the golden key. But then your golden key would be passed between you and the administrator, but you would always have that golden key attached to your hip. Does that analogy mess things up for?
No, that's fine. If we want to name me on the document, that's fine as well, because I'm always there behind the scenes, right? Yeah, I'm the guy that nobody wants to see, because once you see me, it means there's something wrong. Although I add some levity to the situation, so what, that works out. So yeah, I'm fine if there's an adjustment and I'm added onto the document as stated.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move to insert our IT director as the chief administrative officer responsible for the oversight. And perhaps we can insert some language there by our administrator that allows him the flexibility to be a support and coordinator.
I have a question first, because we have a contract with somebody else. What's his name, Jason?
So we have TechServe as our overall consultants, correct?
And so
we don't have an IT director.
Okay, so
we didn't separate James from TechServe.
okay,
Until James gets up to speed, that's the future direction. And so
I tried to figure out, do they have the gold key, and
they do have the keys as well.
It's
And so-
shared.
Yeah.
It's shared
It's shared.
responsibility.
Yeah.
And so there's not, and that's what I tried to understand. We tried to make one person with the gold key
Yeah.
and just be a new title, a new
And we're
description.
not there yet. Yeah.
And so, I like the idea of working together and protecting data, but where we have, at this point, we have a contract with another company that's overseeing, so they kind of have the gold key. And I can see protection. We need protection for records, so people won't come in. Anybody can go in there. So it had to be an order, and I understand that. So I don't know if the motion fits with what we have. And there's times that I have been in those planning and zoning meetings where things are not working out in the past, and we had somebody that had the key, and we couldn't find to be able to work the system. Is kind of complicated, but I understand the protection part, the separation, but also the different. I don't know, so I don't know
Yeah. And this
If
really
it-
isn't the
if
ordinance.
James has something to make a comment, because he's the legal.
The ordinance establishes the go-to person for the administrative side of it. So this isn't really about the keys and the functionality. This is, who does the state contact when it comes to our policies and procedures? Who enacts the policies and procedures? Who is the one that's kind of, orchestrating it behind the scenes? And so that's kind of what this is about, is more, it's a higher level than boots on the ground actually making it happen. And so when you look at the oversight and the umbrella is making sure that the departments, the directors know, okay, this is what we need to do for our data privacy policy according to the state legislature and the state code. So it's kind of like more of an oversight than it is boots on the ground. The policy that you'll see next is more boots on the ground. This is what we need to do. Here's the training that we need to have at a staff level, and that is all James at that point.
So we're establishing a data privacy program, right?
Correct. It's
And
all just
ultimately,
a program. The policy itself gets into the enactment of the program.
all right. And we have our IT here that can create the data privacy program.
He can enact the policy, yes.
So my motion would allow him to take full control of enacting that data privacy and program independent, because we're entrusting him with that duty on this document. So he in turn would be the contact person for the state moving forward.
So let me show you the policy, to help. Oh, hold on. Let me get back into where I was, because I think that'll help with the discussion. So when you look at the policy itself, you are all a part of it as well on who to contact. So if I fill out a document on our website, by policy, these are who the contacts are. And this is all just the executive staff. You were included in there. So if there's a privacy concern, they can come to you instead of me. Typically, on the flow of like a grandma request, a complaint, you have them coming in to the clerk auditor or myself, and then you three are listed on there. We can add James on here as well, who we are and how to reach us. We've got to describe of what information we're collecting, how we use that information. Our disclosure on here has got to be on our website. If you notice right now on our website, we don't have anything on here. We did had the state perform an audit on our website. I'm like, we don't collect any data. And their audit showed that no, we actually do have cookies on our website and things that are pulling data from users that visit our site. When you go onto some of our forms now have to have a QR code directing the public to this privacy policy statement. Like if they feel that their data has been placed in jeopardy, who do they contact? And so those are the main individuals that we have that they will be contacting on this policy. This policy also has to be listed on our website so it can be referred to by any citizen that feels that their data has been breached by the county or on behalf of our website. So it goes through a little bit more detail, and this is behind the scenes working on all of this to create this structure, train our employees that here's the protection of data. Gets into the archival process. Sometimes if we collect a form online, we'll print that form out for administrative purposes. Well, how long can we keep that form? And then Commissioner Harvey, you're probably familiar with it with the state. It's like, okay, you have the state archive rules of how long you can keep those forms. Say, for example, 7 years on a financial account payable invoice. Keep those for 7 years. After that 7 years, then you can destroy the documents. Behind that and all the training goes to James to help oversee the creation of the policies. Typically are a little bit much more higher.
Madam Chair, or did you have a follow-up?
Oh, go ahead, Commissioner.
If I may, I have a couple of questions with this. So with regard to what Commissioner Harvey has said, so when we come to the privacy policy statement and it lists our names, are you listing yourself on there as the chief AO of the data? Because if we're listing ourselves as staff, your title on there needs to be county administrator, because that conflicts with our statutes. So if or we put chief administrative officer of data, so that needs to be clarified, I believe. But
it would have
I have a little bit of conflict here, and some of these things are intermixed. So some I don't. No, as far as putting the policy in place, I can see that as your responsibility. But as far as where it says, for all existing and high-risk processing activities involving personal data to identify and mitigate privacy risks, to me that falls under your responsibility. Staff training would fall under your responsibility.
100%.
So this document is mixing both responsibilities. So we either separate it out and make it more clear. I mean, I don't want to get into the weeds, but I think if we're going to do this, we do it correctly. We either break this down a little more with 3 and 4 and 5 and say what those responsibilities are, because I feel like it's muddy. It's muddy in there.
Well, what you have is we've reviewed many different counties and their policies that have already been implemented, and a lot of them actually don't have such granularity. They're shorter, and they simply just say, for concerns, contact IT at whatever their domain is. And so we're adding a little bit more information, more in line with what the larger counties do, such as Salt Lake and Utah. So if it's confusing, I'm sure we can adjust some language. But it's more comes down to what's after that. What data are we collecting through the website and through our forms, and how are we keeping it safe?
So back to this one here is more, well, I keep on jumping back to our website, is more about who oversees and creates the policies.
Right, but I just think we need a little bit of clarification on those duties.
Well,
I agree.
I'm very impressed that you guys think that way, but do you have any,
From a legal perspective?
from a legal perspective, any?
Well,
But,
You
and I think that's when our attorneys can,
Sure.
weigh in. And I'm sure this is not intentional, looking like we over paragraph. I'm sure whatever information is there, there's another ways to find the information. If people want to find the information, we have other ways. On the contracts, we have paper things. And so basically, I think it's trying to meet some requirements that's coming from the state. And the more we have things work out, the better we can manage the county and help navigate. But Attorney Jens, you have.
well, there's a couple parts here. One part is just to comply with the requirement. Put in place what the state requires and name someone. Second part of it is, who do you name and how this all works, and that's really what we're discussing here. And I'd be interested to know what. Well, so is you have experience with this in other counties, or you've just looked at the other counties?
Reviewed the other counties and what they're doing
Okay.
as a point of reference, and knowing what's different from their website versus ours and how they use their data.
How would you recommend this be done?
Well, the contact information may be a bit more extensive than it needs to be, but it's there to clarify that if they're who is directly responsible for saying what the policy direction is, which is the council, IT, and administration, right? And then the rest of that is just there to say, okay, we're not taking your data and selling it on the internet. It's really just a feel good for the public,
Right.
and that's really all that the state is requiring.
Okay. And also they require that there be a way to contact.
Yeah, there has to be some way to contact. And generally, like I said, the larger counties, they have an extensive list like we have here. And the smaller counties simply have a single email, whether it's administration at whatever or IT, whatever. They keep it as simple as possible. And some of them actually only have one paragraph as their policy.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much in all the things, as I look at ordinances, when we are trying to pass a humongous document, you go to some county and they only have 10 sentences,
Yeah.
and we hear, well, this is the regulation, things like that. So it's interesting how in upgrading things, some county haven't upgraded in years, and we feel pressure, need to upgrade things. But anyway, so there's all kinds of different ways that the different counties do it. So anyway. But
Yeah, my observations have been the larger the county's budget, the more extensive the policy listing is. The smaller it is, the simpler it is, and we tend to be one of the smaller ones. So, keep it simple.
I think that paragraph there, appointing a chief administrative officer, that's the catchphrase for me. We have a county administrator, but it's a county administrator. This is a chief administrative officer, an administrative officer who focuses its time around data privacy. Therefore, it should be you that's the chief administrative officer. And it should be in collaboration with our chief county administrator. That's what I'm thinking. What do you think, Commissioner Mon?
I know this document specifically specifies a CAO and whoever you put in there. It's when we get to those paragraphs down below where it gets a little convoluted for me, because I agree, if we're not around, or this is what you deal with every day. I know this seems very trite that we're just trying to figure this out, but I do like the separation of saying, hey, this is who we're saying this is, because it is your responsibility, in my opinion. It's your responsibility to make sure this is governed for the county. And as far as the privacy and policies, we could even just put in there any policies or notices that are changed will be administered with the county administration and commission. I think it's as simple as we appoint you to that, and yet you work with our county administrator.
Yeah, and I'm sure you would be the one who would want to know the privacy breach should it comes.
Well, I'm the point of contact for the state in case anything does come up. So
exactly.
Yeah, and be like, hey, we just had a breach here. Now I know I gotta do something about it.
Can we do that just in the title that we have right now without? Can we work the language where we just say the IT person here? Because since we have a contract with somebody hired, can we just say with the IT person be the contact person and not trying to give new titles or new into
Legally, I don't. It can be whoever. I don't think there's a requirement legally that it be a certain person. You just want
just somebody that. And who do you contact?
What I've been when I first saw this, and it seemed like a pretty straightforward, benign thing, and now we're drilling down a little bit, which is all good. I all of a sudden am thinking to myself, well, is the scope of this whole thing is addressing a situation where the public is interacting with the county. Is that right? And the public needs to know what information we gather, and they need to be able to ask the county about that.
Yeah.
And if the county has a data breach, does this policy cover how we inform the public about the data breach?
That's not part of this.
Okay, that was my whole thing, is the scope of this is much narrower than the overall data security and so forth for the county. This is pretty narrow, and it affects the public needs to know, okay, like you go to a website, we're all familiar with this, that little statement about the cookies or different things, and you can hit allow or disallow and all that kind of stuff. So, okay, so this is narrower than the overall security of data.
Yeah, this is not a grand plan. Yeah,
I got you. So this,
and I think we're trying to make it bigger than it is, and I was impressed as you guys came up with all this other thing. And it's good to have a discussion because we clarify, and I think it's not a separation of power. It's basically meeting requirements that are being asked, and it should be just simple.
Administrators.
Yeah.
It's just to be administered, so there's no
So Utah code, it has two statements in this section where it has the chief administrative officer and then it has the chief privacy officer. And so it kind of separates out those two. This one here is literally just the administrative of. That's all it is. The keys and that all kind of belong to that chief privacy part of it, speaking to the policy and implementation. This is just oversight. And so if you want
So
us
may-
to change James's name to that,
So maybe we could appoint you as the chief administrative officer of the data program,
correct.
but
That's all this does.
James, the data privacy officer of items number section 4 and 5. So we would list both because there is several duties in there. So chief privacy officer, we could name James because you would then oversee
Section
the
4,
activities, the
section 5.
privacy tasks, the staff training. And I know this kind of seems trivial, but it's trivial until you have a data breach. And then
Yeah.
it's not trivial at all. And then
Yeah.
it's like they're going to examine this with a fine-tooth comb to see what we
have-
did.
happened to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
This
guess
is
that would
not-
be my
actually,
recommendation.
You're overthinking that a little bit. This does not cover that. This is simply what we do with the data that we ingest from the website and the forums. You're thinking more of what you're thinking about data breaches and all of those things. That's completely something else. This is merely what we do with the data that we collect
We
from the
don't sell
website.
it, we don't.
Do we sell it? Do we not sell it? Do we keep it secure? Is it not secure?
But you would be doing the training and identifying and mitigating the privacy risks. That really falls under you.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I guess that's where I would insert yourself in section 4 and 5.
So do you want us to make changes and bring it back, or do you want to approve it with those changes?
I'd rather let's work on it a little more. This is good practice actually because we're paying attention, right?
That's
As
the
a
reason I was so impressed.
as opposed to
Wow.
okay, let's
I want to take
here's a
taking.
document, we're just gonna approve it and run with it kind of a thing. It's like, whoa, let's rationalize, let's think this. No pun intended, Mac. You're still my favorite administrator in the county. But
All we would need to do is just table this one, and then we can also make the modifications reflective in the policy statement as well.
So we can table both,
Yes, you could.
6 and
And
7.
then we
Yeah.
can work on both of those with your direction from today.
There we go. So good
Very
today.
good.
Look at us.
wow, getting
Okay.
to be champions. I like
That's the
that.
first meeting. We were
So,
so good. today.
Motion to table. Let's continue refining the the ordinance, and also what is the other one? The privacy policy itself, so that it coincides
So
with
we
a
have-
clearer.
So on the privacy policy, do you want your names listed, or do you want us to segregate it and just place James's? We could put like, what's the standard email that
Right.
use?
You want to just use, chief administration is Mac, and then chief information or security is
Privacy.
myself, and then
Yeah.
supervised by the council or the commission.
And then here's the IT contact.
I think that's a little more digestible in terms of.
Okay, we'll make the changes. We'll
Yeah.
bring it back.
Thank
I like
you.
that. Thank you. Sorry about
We just
So-
need a
being
second
picky
and
today.
yes.
So we
Oh,
have
The
a,
caffeine
I'll
kicked
second
in.
to table
we
it.
have a motion to table, and we
I'll
have a
second.
second. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. So now it's time for commission reports.
That's you.
That's me.
That's
Well,
Vicky.
I'm gonna let whoever wanna go first. Go first.
Wherever you'd like us to go.
But you guys can take it.
We're gonna race outside, see who wins.
Would you like me to start? Or?
Commissioner, how did you
Harvey?
want to go first?
Okay, Madam Chair, thank you. Let's see. First item, Anna chapter had their chapter meeting on Sunday, and they had some discussion on. Let's see, what was one item? They had a robust discussion about the roundabout that is being finalized in Montezuma Creek. And this is just for your knowledge, but the community would like to memorialize perhaps a tribal leader, and maybe there's mention of a statute, maybe as an example, but not a final selection of who the statue would be. But an example would be like Manuelito, because he's a chief born at Bears Ears. That's an example of their thoughts about, instead of the roundabout being flat surface with nothing on it, maybe we should memorialize the community and the culture. Is a discussion they had. They also would like to honor the veterans. Navajo code talkers is another thought that the community talked about. Maybe having something there that reflects Navajo code talkers, so that visitors who drive through the community can be intrigued. And then also maybe honoring the high school, Whitehorse High School, and the students, something to that effect. But that was a discussion item. It's something they hope can become a project in the near future, that could be funded. I think the effort is really just to celebrate kind of culture and community and history. I think that's the thing. So that was the discussion that I just wanted to highlight at Anna chapter. As of this moment, the community is probably praying and blessing the turkey that has been provided by Elk Petroleum. Elk Petroleum sponsors Thanksgiving dinners in the community. Anna chapter is today, so I'm missing out on some baked turkey. Red Mesa's Thanksgiving dinner was actually yesterday. They had to reschedule their chapter meeting yesterday to this coming Monday, which is, I forget what day next Monday is. So it'll be next Monday. We did, Commissioner Stubbs and I did attend the Navajo Utah, or the Navajo Revitalization Fund meeting yesterday. Some positive projects that I'd like to highlight that were approved is funding for a senior center, a new senior center facility in Navajo Mountain was one, I think, a much needed project, right, Commissioner Stubbs? And also, I think we talked about allocating the severance tax to the Utah chapters. That's new funding that's available to the chapters that we were able to talk about. But the meeting was swift, but very positive for Navajo Mountain. Let's see, what's the other item I needed to discuss? I think that'll just be my report for today, Madam Chair. Just keeping it short and simple. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Okay, a couple of things is on Friday I actually attended Utah Department of Transportation, so they had their meeting here in Moab, and you know, every time when I meet them, they've got their Levi's and shirts on because they're working, and I showed up and I was underdressed and they were all in suits from the state of Utah. And I actually had to make a public comment. So, but I did thank Region 4 for the work that they have done in this area. And they highlighted Montezuma Creek, the Anna, the bridges down there. And it was kind of interesting because I looked online and there's driving tips to go through the roundabout. They said, quit driving over them. And so, but that was great. And I think they need to know how much we appreciate the work that they do down here and that they're aware of us and that because they are great to work with. And I am also working with them with our Mud Springs project at the south or the north end of the county. We're trying to, they finally have their data. So we are meeting with them the 1st of December to find out what they're going to do and how we're going to put that road in for the infrastructure for the Mud Springs. We thought we had a groundbreaking, or I mean a ribbon cutting possibly in April, but we're looking more like October, the reality of it. We've got a lot of paperwork to do and agreements with the BLM and SILA. So the other thing is went to the Rainmaker, which is up in Salt Lake, which is the program with the drones that actually seeds the clouds. So I'm waiting to hear on funding from Monticello City, and the guy from Rainmaker went and met with them. We met with them on Tuesday. We will go tonight and meet with Blanding City, and then also we're meeting, then the Water Conservation District is waiting to hear from those two cities to see what they will commit. But Grand County has signed the contract, and so if we can get the funding, we get the cloud seeding. If not, we're out. But they're going to benefit 100% from it if not. So still working to wrap up that funding. The Oakland Coal Terminal, I was unable to attend that meeting, but that's something that CERTA is trying to work with. And the state of Utah. So I kind of have a few details on that as far as an actual terminal to ship coal to Oakland to export. So a great thing for the state, and also working with CERTA. I will see how much it benefits us. But and my last thing is a groundbreaking with the Velvet Wood Mine. Myself and Commissioner Stubbs ended up being there, which I think is going to be a huge asset for our county, bringing a lot of jobs. They're ready to go. They had it together. I mean, they're ready to go, and it's a great economic opportunity for our county. So,
You know, I grew up with roundabouts in the city I grew up, and they have statues in the middle. The people, the one that's in Murray Valley, people don't see it coming, they go over it. And so I'm glad that you guys are gonna have lights, and I'm glad you're gonna have statue, because that's what one thing I missed. Well, I don't miss the roundabouts because in Argentina they are big, and you have hundreds of taxis and everything going. You don't drive personal cars to the city. You go subway or bus system, whatever. Anyway, so it's nice to see that we're gonna have statues. It's a good way to honor leaders, and I don't know, it's something about seeing San Martin, which was the one that liberated not only Argentina but Chile, Bolivia, and multiple nations. He went. He's one of our leaders, and you see him in his horse, and it's such a beautiful thing as you drive through a city like that. And Commissioner Harvey addressed the NRF meeting yesterday, and it was one of those days that you kind of wait for something to happen. The first day I was in Navajo Mountain, I was asked, what you gonna do for us? And I said, what should I do? And they mentioned the senior center, and it'd be something that we have been working on it, along with Tony Dash and other people, trying to make it happen. And it was so nice to see that happen. One thing about Navajo Mountain have been really good at using the NRF funds. We have passed amazing projects for them, and they're using their money, and it's nice to see be able for us to approve projects that come before the board. And I think that's one of the things I wish I had a little bill that every time we approve a house project or a house being fixed, whatever, that we can ring a heavily bill, because I think it's such a opportunity for them to have a new home or be able to fix a new home. And that's one of my favorite places to go there and be able to approve that. I don't understand the process. We did the same thing with Ojedo. We got to the point where it was passed, but it was recalled, and I was so excited when, for 2 years, I've been part of trying to fix the Ojedo meeting. A year, August has been 2 years. The year before, we went with multiple people to go see that center. And while we were there, we had multiple cars. And while we were there, hey, I told myself, better not put makeup, you're going to cry today. And I thought, I'm not going to cry in commission meeting. So we were there waiting, and the people started coming. They thought we were open. They came to eat. They came to with their sewing because it's so hot outside. And we started the process of trying to put it all together. And we had a vote. We waited and waited to have a quorum, and took, from, I leave landing about 9 o'clock and don't return home till dark anyway. So we're waiting to have a quorum. Finally, we have a quorum. It was 100%. As the people I can see, they have voted for it, and we thought it passed, the resolution passed, but somehow was recalled. And I learned that later, and I felt sad because I thought the people would be able to get their place fixed. And it's understanding another nation how things operate. Sometimes I don't understand the rules, but it was a sudden day to think that those people won't have a cool place or a warm place or a place where they can go, and above all, be able to get meals, especially when we have had the cost of food, cost of protein. It's not only the food, it's the shelter, it's the company after being isolated from COVID. And they're older people. Us older people don't know how long we're going to live. They cannot wait for. Anyway, so it was very hard to take that, but we'll just keep working, and hopefully some solution will come for them. Commissioner Mann talked about us going to the groundbreaking ceremony at the Velvet Wood mine, and that go-getter, I kind of got lost, and it gave me the opportunity to go and see how many fields of gas we have, and I figured where the money goes, and I finally learned where the money goes about the taxes there, and it was very interesting. And I missed, because I got lost, I missed the groundbreaking, and the person that I had invited me, he said, we're going to redo it. And I thought it was just me and him and somebody else. But when I looked behind, everybody came back and recreated the ceremony. And these are the important people, the main people that came from Toronto, Canada. There is a mine that's owned by a Canadian company. And so it, to me, was because the whole time I had tried so hard to be there on time early, and we got lost. And so it was kind of a feeling, and I thought, even if I did 5 minutes, I want to make sure that they knew I was trying to get there. But it ended up being such a nice experience. And so we had that, and because we had that coming, while we were lost, we passed by the copper mine, and that day, the day before they got the final permit, they need to start operating with their new plans that they have. So they'll need housing. Energy Fuel is building this amazing big building where they're gonna need more worker with more housing. So I have asked, because I work with community development and Italia, and I have been looking a lot on housing, trying to figure out how we can do housing. And lots of the days you see nothing in my calendar is because I've been behind the scene trying to find a possibility for us to build more housing. We cannot have jobs come if we don't have housing right now. We talk about affordable housing. I don't know if the house is ever going to be affordable the way things are right now, but we need housing for the workers to stay. We want for people to live in San Juan County, if they work here. We don't want them to go to another areas anyway. So those are things I kind of concentrating. And when I was in Ojero last time, two person they're contacting me about housing. They try to still want to have the opportunity to be able how they can do housing. And so Talia and I are going there and meeting with them and trying to figure out how we can figure out programs for them to be able to, beside NRF, maybe there's other things. But anyway, thank you so much. Today was one of those good days we had here. And so are we ready for one more motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second the motion to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 So back at 2.
Maybe a little bit earlier. I scheduled one at 1:45.
Okay.
So at least come here by then. And
Okay.
I have emails. Others are asking for a scheduled hearing time also.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, if you do early, I guess you can text.
So how about for
Oh.
what time is
Thank
the attorney coming back?
3.
3:15.
Mitch, 3 something.
It'd be nice to get a copy of his paper.